Bonjour, bonjour, rise and shine. Good morning, everybody. It's the Canard Economy here. So today's video is going to be on list of all emotions and emotional states. So it's about 73 degrees right now. I could definitely feel the weather changing since it's August 12th. The time is 8:04. And I'm just taking a nice little walk for the morning time. You know, killing two birds with one stone. You know, walking and talking. So this is going to be a list of every single emotion that we have in our body and the emotional states that we have as human beings. So every single person has these emotions. So there's a black pill trigger warning, because if I say these words, it may put you in that emotional state. So be forewarned, I'm going to say every emotion. So, and it's different categories. We have happy, surprised, fearful, bad, disgusted, angry, and sad. But that's just the categories. We have more emotions than just those. So we're going to get into it. So this is the happy category. It's playful, content, interested, proud, accepted, powerful, peaceful, trusting, optimistic, aroused, cheeky, free, joyful, curious, inquisitive, successful, confident, respected, valued, courageous, creative, loving, thankful, sensitive, intimate, hopeful, and inspired. So that was all the emotions for the happiness category. For the happiness category. And I was gonna say something else, but I can't think of it right now. Well, I'll continue. I was gonna say that we're supposed to transcend all past these emotions. So doing that shadow work, what I told y'all yesterday, you're supposed to sit in a dark room for 8 hours and work on every single one of these emotions. That's why it takes a full 8 hours, a full day, a full week, a full month, and a whole year just to work all this stuff out. Okay, so I'm gonna say it one more time. This is the happiness category. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's got a spike web on. Okay, so this is the happiness category. Playful, content, interested, proud, accepted, powerful, peaceful, trusting, optimistic, aroused, cheeky. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So I was going to talk about the definitions. I was going to go over each emotion, but I realized that I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time on my phone to really get into every emotion, so you should all Google this stuff. If y'all really want to know the emotions, y'all should pause the video every time I say emotion and then Google it. So that's what I was going to say. So once again, this is happiness, the happiness category. It's kind of windy. Okay, so you're going to feel playful, content, interested, proud, accepted, powerful, peaceful, trusting, optimistic, aroused, cheeky, free, joyful, curious, inquisitive, successful, confident, respected, valued, courageous, creative, loving, thankful, sensitive, intimate, hopeful, and inspired. And taking these beautiful morning walks, you'll feel all these emotions right now. That's it. These are all happiness, all happy emotions, positive emotions. Okay. So once again, that was the happiness category. So now we're in the surprised category. So these are emotional states. Surprised, startled, confused, amazed, excited, shocked, dismayed, disillusioned, perplexed, astonished, in awe, as in AWE, eager and energetic. So that's the surprise category. So that's startled, confused, amazed, excited, shocked, dismayed, disillusioned, perplexed, astonished, in awe, eager, and energetic. So we just knocked out the happiness category and the surprise category. So now we're going to the fearful category. So these are all, I guess you could say negative, but it's just our, that's our emotional state that we have. So once again, it's our duty as humans, as well as Americans at the highest forms, to transcend past all this stuff. So you can be a, superhero, if you will. So this is the category of fearful: scared, anxious, insecure, weak, rejected, threatened, helpless, frightened, overwhelmed, worried, inadequate. I love this car so much. It's so trim. This one, this Dodge. That might be my next car, my next SUV. I joint do the dash. But I love Jeep so much. I'm either going to get the Grand Cherokee, the Jeep Compass, or that Dodge Charger. Durango, I meant. That's a Dodge Durango. So, once again, that fearful state is scared, anxious, insecure, weak, rejected, threatened, helpless, frightened, overwhelmed, worried, inadequate, inferior, worthless, insignificant, excluded, persecuted, nervous, and exposed. So, like I said, that's the fearful emotion and emotional state. Yeah, I love this car too, this Jeep Wrangler. But it's such a summer car. But it's also, it's good for the winter because it's got the big tires and everything. But every time I see that, I automatically think of summer. It just doesn't look like it doesn't really look like a practical car, even though it has a trunk and et cetera, et cetera. I just think going to the beach, like a dune buggy. So that was the fearful state. I'll say it one more time. And like I said, I'm sorry if I trigger any of y'all emotions while speaking on these. Once again, I'm a Black Pill channel, so it's a good thing that I made y'all feel these emotions and all that. I'm a Black Pill influencer, so, and we're discussing emotions, so therefore, we got to get over those. Once again, if you feel those feelings, you have to transcend past that and realize that's trauma in those wounds that I was talking about previously. So this is the cul-de-sac I was talking about. You pretty much have to come back. You know, it's like a dead end type thing. It's like this cul-de-sac right here with this dead end thing. It's a cul-de-sac right here, and then where I just walked at, it's another roundabout type of cul-de-sac, and then you walk up all the way up the hill. So once again, that's fearful. We need to transcend past all these emotions. That's being scared, anxious, and I wish I could give y'all the definitions, but once again, it's already 10 minutes in. If I go over every single emotion, you know, the video it's not gonna hit. So once again, you have to do your homework and Google all this stuff if you really want to know. You know, if y'all just want to be entertained and, you know, enjoy. But I'm here to be something more than an entertainer, if you will. So, like I said the last time saying it, fearful category, which is scared, anxious, insecure, weak, rejected, threatened, helpless, frightened, overwhelmed, worried, inadequate, inferior, worthless, insignificant, excluded, persecuted, nervous, and exposed. And some of these words, that's how you know these guys are real wizards and magicians. Because I'm like, how did y'all even create some of these words? And they have so much energy in them, and they can make you feel like that. That's pretty crazy. Look at this hole. I don't know what could be. You would have thought an asteroid did it. I mean, a meteorite. Okay, so that was the fearful category. Now we're in, they label it the bad category. So, I guess these are negative emotions. Excuse me. So, this is labeled under the bad category. So we're going to go with bored, busy, stressed, tired, indifferent, apathetic, pressured, rushed, overwhelmed, out of control, sleepy, and unfocused. So they label these specifically in the bad category. So if you feel like these, you should definitely transcend past all that. And I didn't think being bored was a bad thing, but it could be bad in certain situations. Because some people just have, you know, low attention spans and all that. They're not really bored. But it is an uncomfortable feeling, though, of being bored, though. So there's something to it. But you shouldn't ever be bored, though. That shouldn't even be a thing in life in 2026 and above, being bored. Because there's always something to do. But you should be bored sometimes so you can find stuff to do. Because sometimes it's a good thing of being bored. That means you've done everything. Like, for example, sometimes even I can't sit in a room alone. Well, I can sit alone, but not like in silence like that, because I know I have other stuff to do, you know, stuff like this. So, but that's also a good thing of being bored, so you can do stuff like this. You know what I mean? So this is the bad category. That's being bored, busy, stressed, tired, indifferent, apathetic, pressured, rushed, overwhelmed, out of control, sleepy, and unfocused. So, and like I said, they consider this the look like the whole ass nigga's about to hit me with the car. But once again, you see I'm not scared or anxious or weak or helpless. So that was in the bad category of being bored, busy, and once again, even busy is a bad thing, especially if you're busy in the wrong directions. See, me, I'm busy in a good way, but it's also, I'm neglecting things. Like, for example, showering, not cleaning my room. So it does get to a point where it gets pretty bad. But that's called sacrifice and everything. I'm sacrificing, looking good. And I still look good, but, and I stink a little bit. But thank God I'm a vegan and all that, so I don't necessarily smell like shit. You feel me? I just smell like granola, if that makes sense. Like, I smell like a granola bar or just outside. So, okay, so that was the bad category. And here's since I was talking about smelling bad, the next emotional state is disgusted. So that's the disgusted category. So we're going to go with disapproving, disappointed, awful, repelled, judgmental, embarrassed, appalled, revolted, nauseated. Where's the car? Oh, man, see? So we were at revolted, nauseated, detestable, horrified, and hesitant. That was in the disgusted category. They got so much bamboo in their yard. We got the same thing, but they don't have like a fence. So it's just in their backyard. It looks like Asia. I'm not even gonna show their house. And then I can't zoom in, so. Like, imagine that. 2026, I have a phone that you can't zoom in. Okay. So, like I said, the category was disgusted. So we're gonna go with disapproving, disappointed, awful. So, disgusted, disapproving, disappointed, awful, repelled, judgmental, embarrassed, appalled. So embarrassed, appalled, revolted, nauseated, detestable, horrified, and hesitant. Ooh. I got people sitting in the car about to hit me with the joint and everything. That's why it's important to be aware of your surroundings and everything. Like I said, I didn't even hear that car. I was too busy in my flow. Like I said, it feels so good out here. I see why everybody's outside. It's this peak morning right here. It's 8:23. Wow. I didn't even know they sold that house and changed it all. I still remember it was a neighbor. He used to sit right in that garage with the garage door open, playing music, and had a small little dog that would bark at me. Y'all might see that in one of the videos, like in my beginning videos. Okay. So we're moving. So once again, the category was disgusted, and this will consist of the emotional states and emotions of disapproving, disappointed, disapproving, disappointed, awful, repelled, judgmental, embarrassed, appalled, revolted, nauseated, detestable, horrified, and hesitant. So I guess you would consider these negative. I'm near Air Force Base, so that may be a airplane. Well, not maybe, it's definitely an airplane. I hope. But I'm trying to think, I don't know if that's the fighter jets or what. Quick story time with the fighter jets. I remember it was either 2 years ago or a few years before that. Good morning, how are you? Like I said, a long time ago, it was a fighter jet, and they crashed, and one of their partner fighter jets springed into action and pressed some type of button in their fighter jet, and it did like a supersonic boom where it was so fast that it sounded like an explosion on the ground, and it shook the house and all that weird stuff. It was pretty trippy, and nobody knew what it was. It was just a loud explosion. And do you see on the news about an hour later that it said that a fighter jet crashed and they went to go save the pilot and all that? So that's pretty cool. Shout out to my homie Daryl, who just went to the Air Force last year. I think they sent him to Mississippi. I believe either Mississippi or Missouri, but I'm pretty sure it was Mississippi. You know, I don't really pay attention to states like that anymore. I hope that's not the same place, Mississippi and Missouri. Like, I don't know if that's the capital or what, but, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, nobody cares about these states. I used to care about all these things, but it's like, they're not talking about nothing. So what's the point of remembering them? You know, the biggest news that we just seen all week and really all month so far, well, really all year, about Mississippi is people getting hanged on trees and all that. So we ain't looking at that. Y'all better fix that. So disgusted, which is what I am from looking at all that stuff. Disapproving, disappointed, awful, repelled, judgmental, embarrassed, appalled, revolted, nauseated, detestable, horrified, and hesitant. That sums up Mississippi in general. So that was the disgusted category. We have 2 more categories to go, and that's the angry category. So these are the emotional states of being angry and how to recognize it. So it is the angry category. It's let down, humiliated, bitter, mad, aggressive, frustrated, distant, critical, betrayed, resentful, disrespected, ridiculed, indignant, violated, furious, jealous, provoked, hostile, infuriated, annoyed, withdrawn, numb, skeptical, and dismissive. And that was all in the angry category. So it's your duty as an American and a human being in general to transcend past all this stuff. So you should be sitting in a dark room or just sitting alone with yourself for 8 hours at the least, and schedule a full day to be with yourself, to transcend all these emotions. That's a dragonfly. It was black and white. Try not to get up on it. Like I said, I wish I could flip the camera. I can't flip the camera. I can't zoom in on this. It's a goofy ass phone, man. and I had a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. That's better than the S9, no plus, which is just weird as fuck. So, like I said, that's the angry category. That's let down, humiliated, bitter, mad, aggressive, frustrated, distant, critical, betrayed, resentful, disrespected, ridiculed, indignant, violated, furious, jealous, provoked, hostile, infuriated, annoyed, withdrawn, numb, skeptical, and dismissive. So that's the angry category. And then we have 1 more to go. kind of windy. I kind of want to walk to the park, but I'm kind of, you feel me? I mean, I don't mind, but it's like it's a very secluded park, which is I don't want to be out there with no water and all that, which I can survive, but it's just if I walk to that park, you know, that's an extra 10 to 15 minutes, and I don't really. And stop at the stop sign. It is what it is. I mean, it's nobody there, but still, you should still stop at the stop sign. So the last one is sad, the sad category. And doesn't it seem like we have more emotional states and emotions of negativity than happiness? Which is kind of weird, but you know, that's our human body. And I believe this is just a school, so the fact that we even get emotions and all that is a blessing. Happiness, positive emotions. Because it's starting to, like, I think a lot of people are coping now, but I believe we might be in hell. You know, we might be in another form of hell. Not the actual hell, because, you know, we still have positivity and everything, but I believe this is like a plane of existence. A plane of existence that's hell. So, we're going to keep it going. So lastly, this is the sad category. And that's sadness, lonely, vulnerable, despair, guilty, depressed, hurt, isolated, abandoned, victimized, fragile, grief, powerless, ashamed, remorseful, empty, inferior, disappointed, and embarrassed. And I think they repeated some of these on that list that I found. Now I can just type in on Google list of all the emotions that we have in the body. It's like it's a red, yellow, green, and blue circle chart that has a list of all our emotions. And the colors, I believe, is psychological. So I guess they're associated with those specific emotions. You know, like how people, when they're sad, they like, why you feel so blue? Or I feel blue. Or with angriness, you see red. Or when you're calm, you feel like yellow, mellow yellow. So it's definitely some science to it. I was going to get into that in another video about the psychology of colors and how all these brands and everybody use specific colors that make you feel some type of way. And how you know it's the truth. Like some people hate the colors. Like some people hate like neon green. That's so trippy. You know, like if you paint your house a certain color, people may hate it. You know, people may hate seeing it. Because I believe I live in a HOA, a home owners association type thing. And I didn't think, I kind of used to not like stuff like that. But then you realize most people are assholes and they do whatever they want. And they can as Americans, but it gets to a point, it's like you're offending people. And people don't care about offending others, which is disgusting. You know, that's a character flaw. And we're allowed to be crappy people just because they can work a job and, you know, they can pay a few bills. But then when you really look into it, they're really not that. So that's why they work like warehouse jobs and make less than 100,000 and all that type of stuff. They're not really, you know, it really says a lot about you if you don't have money. They got a cool basketball court in the backyard. Like I said, shout out my homie Howard and his family. I think they moved away. You know, like I said, these people don't come over. Like, they know exactly where I live. They leave the environment. They leave the neighborhood. They don't pull up and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like a goodbye, like a final goodbye and all that type of stuff. And I know some people are probably like, oh, they don't have to do that. But it's like, we had a lot of memories together, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these people in this neighborhood, we used to hang out every day. Every single day. And I used to, like I said, I used to be in these people's homes, and we had dinner together and all that stuff. So, okay. That was all the emotions. And that was every single emotion in the body. We could go over it one more time. So, hold on, this is somebody. Just making sure. Yeah, so we did our big one yesterday with all these videos. Okay. So like I said, I'm gonna go over the emotions one more time in full. This is a list of all emotions. This is a list of all emotions and emotional states in the body. So it is the happiness category. You'll feel playful, content, interested, proud, accepted, powerful, peaceful, trusting, optimistic, aroused, cheeky, free, joyful, curious, inquisitive, successful, confident, respected, valued, courageous, creative, loving, thankful, sensitive, in a good way, intimate. I can't believe they put bored in a bad category, but not sensitive. But once again, I think that's a different type of sensitive, because they have different types of being sensitive there. So, like I said, they have different types of being sensitive. They have the good one where it's like when you're with a woman or something, and she's like sensitive around you, you know, vulnerable. But then they also have the sensitive as in easily offended and all that type of stuff. So they're talking about the sensitive of being comfortable around somebody. And that's also intimate. So once again, that's playful, content, interested, proud, accepted, powerful, peaceful, trusting, optimistic, aroused, cheeky, free, joyful, curious, inquisitive, successful, it's kind of windy, successful, confident, respected, valued, courageous, creative, loving, thankful, sensitive, intimate, hopeful, and inspired. The next category is surprised, which is startled, confused. Surprised, startled, confused, amazed, excited, shocked, dismayed. Like I said, you could Google all this stuff. Dismayed, that's dismayed. Dismayed, disillusioned, perplexed, which is perplexed, perplexed, astonished, in awe, but you could just call it awe, which is AWE, eager, and energetic. The next category is fearful, which is scared, anxious, which is ANXIOUS, anxious, scared, anxious, insecure, weak, rejected, threatened, helpless, frightened, overall, not overall, overwhelmed, worried, inadequate, and that's INADEQUATE, inadequate, inferior, worthless, insignificant, excluded, persecuted, nervous, and exposed. Okay, so we did the happiness category. It's windy, and I got two papers in my hand. So that's happy category, surprise category, fearful category, bad category, disgusted category, angry category, and sad category. Okay. So we were at fearful. So that's scared, anxious, insecure, weak, rejected, threatened, helpless, frightened, overwhelmed, worried, inadequate, inferior, worthless, insignificant, excluded, persecuted, nervous, and exposed. So the next category is the bad category, which I discussed was bored, busy, stressed, tired, indifferent, apathetic, pressured, rushed, overwhelmed, out of control, sleepy, and unfocused. Alright, so I made it home. We're gonna keep it going now. So like I said, I'm showing y'all in real time the morning routine, walking. Now I'm about to ground. We don't fake it at all. So we're gonna do this for about 10-20 minutes. So once again, this is the bad category. This is bored, busy, stressed, tired, indifferent, apathetic, pressured, rushed, overwhelmed, out of control, sleepy, and unfocused. So the next one is disgusted, which is DISGUSTED, disgusted. So this is disapproving, disappointed, awful, repelled, judgmental, embarrassed, appalled, which is APPALLED, appalled, revolted, which is REVOLTED, revolted, nauseated, which is NAUSEATED, nauseated, detestable, horrified, and hesitant. Hesitant is HESITANT, hesitant. The next category is angry, or the emotional state of anger, such as let down, humiliated, bitter, mad, aggressive, frustrated, distant, critical, betrayed, resentful, disrespected, ridiculed, indignant, which is INDIGNANT, indignant. Next one is violated, furious, jealous, provoked, hostile, infuriated, annoyed, withdrawn, numb, skeptical, and dismissive. That was the angry category. And lastly, we're at the sad category, which is lonely, vulnerable, despair, guilty, depressed, hurt, isolated, abandoned, victimized, fragile, grief, powerless, ashamed, remorseful, empty, inferior, disappointed, and embarrassed. So that's every single emotion in our human body. And as a human, I'm pretty sure, not I'm pretty sure, I know that we all felt these before. So if you say you never felt these before, that means you are not really living life. So you need to reevaluate. Not saying that you should purposely, well, if you never felt these emotions before, at the age of over 20, you should be doing this stuff on purpose. Because a lot of y'all been sitting in the house all y'all life and don't really talk to people or nothing, so y'all never felt these emotions and all that. Some of y'all like robots. Which is why I believe a lot of people are against AI. Because, you know, y'all act like robots, so now y'all have to actually try now. So people are sabotaging the AI, you know, destroying flock cameras and all that type of stuff on some goofy shit. And not getting caught either. That's the crazy part. So it's definitely a corrupted country, so just all you can do is stay out the way. So like I said, those are all emotions in the body. So, and you could even be outside like this, sitting for 8 hours in silence, just pondering on these emotions. I recommend you write all this stuff down. You know, it took me all day to write this stuff, like I said before, but it was worth it though. It was very, very worth it. Cause see how I'm knocking out these videos. Like I already put the work in. You know, I did the research. I did the long hours of sitting with myself, going through every single one of these emotions. And yeah, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna cry. You're gonna yell. You know, you're gonna break stuff. You know, because a long time ago when I was going over all this stuff, I went over all these emotions during the pandemic when we had time to be in the house and all that. You know, because this is what we were supposed to be doing during the pandemic. We were supposed to be transcending as humans, and you can tell who didn't do the self-improvement work during the pandemic. They were too busy saying it was fake. They were too busy complaining that they couldn't go outside and all that. They were complaining that they couldn't go out to their favorite bar and hang with their friends. But in reality, you know, we could have did all the same stuff, you know. You could have sat in the backyard with your friends and all that, but y'all aren't really good people and creative people, so y'all have to have, you know, activities to do, and y'all have to go out, spend money and all that bullshit. So, yeah. That was a list of all the emotions and emotional states. And like I said, you should be outside grounding for 10 minutes. At the time is 8:48. You know, we're still grounding and grinding. You know, real hustle culture, like I'm in New York or something. But the funny part about Maryland is it's all quiet. We still have to make all this money. Like, you don't see the stuff. Like, you don't see the buildings. You don't see anything. You don't see anything expensive. Like, if you look around here, all you see is fast food places and, you know, shopping centers. But the houses cost over $300,000. So how y'all, you know what I'm saying? So how in the fuck are y'all paying for all this crazy stuff? You know, this nice backyard and all this stuff. But you know, my peoples, they work in DC for the government. So I believe people are, what is it called, commuting. You know, because I live in something called the DMV, and it's literally all connected. Like, if you could take the train to anywhere, almost anywhere in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and that's when they claim it's not the real DMV if you can't take the train. Which is kind of, I mean, it makes sense, but it's still kind of silly because even though I haven't took the train in a very, very long time, since probably high school with the friends and all that, going to the Pentagon Mall, not the Pentagon government building. Because like I was saying, you can drive to Baltimore 50 minutes, which is, it doesn't even feel like 50 minutes. All you gotta do is put on some music. Next thing you know, you're there in about 25 or 30 minutes. But it could be traffic and all that, so it's like 50 minutes. But you could also go to Annapolis, and it's 50 minutes, and that's Maryland. But they don't claim Maryland. I mean, they don't claim the PG or whatever. Or not the DMV. I mean, not the DMV. Baltimore doesn't. But then, funny enough, on some goofy shit, DC says that same thing, and Virginia. So y'all just look, y'all are contradicting yourselves because y'all saying the same thing. You know what I mean? So y'all just foolish, and that's mainly the hood saying that. So y'all really don't have any rank to even say what the DMV is and all that type of stuff, because y'all not really contributing to anything. You know, y'all got community, y'all have community and all that, but y'all doing it for survival purposes, just like the cultures around the world. It's not genuine, because as soon as people get some money, you know, they leave, they never come back, all that type of stuff. Very, very lame, very, very lame. But I'm a real Native American, so I really believe in standing in your hometown area and holding it down. But a lot of people, they don't like that stuff. They want to grow and all that type of stuff. And you can grow in your hometown. It's just y'all wanna see the world and all that. Y'all wanna be diverse, which is understandable. I'm diverse, so because I live in an area where it's Hispanics, Filipinos, Indians, Africans, everybody. Other Asians, you know, Chinese. Ethiopian, which I consider this African. So, but you know, they have like Haitian, Nigerian, Ethiopian, you know, all that type of stuff. We got people from Singapore, all that stuff. This is pretty crazy. And I believe we live in something called a census area. So I believe they're dropping off illegal immigrants in our area. Like, a lot of people can't speak English, which is just insane. And a lot of people are starting to pop up that I've never seen before. And I'll be around all the time. Like, I used to just sit in my car, just chilling, you know, scoping out the situation and all that. All right, so it's 48 minutes in. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna do my next video. I still got 2 more videos to do. Excuse me. Cause y'all see, I knocked out that hour-long video yesterday. I did 1 hour-long video, and I did a 30-minute video. So just like that, this is a 48-minute video. Like I said, I'm really cranking out the hits. They said we need 8,000 watch hours, valid watch hours at that. So you can't. I'm not gonna spill the game. But you need 8,000 valid hours. And it doesn't matter how you watch it. It can even be you watching it. So that's what I was gonna say, spill the game, but you know, you can watch your own content and it will still be counted as views. But if you're looking at it all day, like if you're looking at your content all day, it's gonna look sus. And they're gonna crack down on that, as they should, because that's not real views. But if you're genuinely looking at your content and really enjoying it like how I do, like I watch my own content back, and it still counts as a view, because I'm still a viewer. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a human who but who invested their time, energy, and battery on their phone or even their TV to watch the content, hours long content. Okay. So let me head out before this thing cut off on me. So that was a list of all the human emotions, every single one that we have. Matter of fact, what's kind of funny, I don't think they put rage. They didn't put rage. Did I put envy? You know, rage, envy. They have joy. They didn't put sporadic and all that type of stuff. But these are like the common emotions, which those are common too. But you know, I don't know why they didn't put some of that stuff. All right, look at the beautiful sun. I mean, look at the beautiful sky. And grounding. And I like to be outside early like this because the bugs aren't out as much. They're still out, but because it's just about 9 o'clock. But yeah. All right. Everybody have a good day. Happy, what is it? What's today? Wednesday? Yeah. So the next video is going to be lessons you should teach your son. These are good small little life lessons that a little list I found on social media. And this, you know, nowadays women are pretty much men at this point, so this goes for women too if you want. But the list is specifically for men, and it says lessons you should teach your son. So this should be specifically for your son, but it could be universal. All right, 52 minutes in. Run it up. My God. I accidentally got some stuff in my nail. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I was washing my hands and it accidentally went into my nail. All right.